Did you know that the first cars didn't even have a steering wheel? They were operated by a lever. Yes, you heard it right, a lever. The birth of cars, much like our own, was a messy, noisy affair filled with trial and error and a whole lot of creativity. The invention of the car was not a moment, but a journey. A long, winding road that led us from horse-drawn carriages to the sleek, powerful machines we see today. It all started in the 18th century, when inventors began toying with steam-powered vehicles. These early machines were cumbersome and unreliable, not exactly what you'd want for a Sunday drive. But the real game-changer came in the late 19th century with the introduction of internal combustion engines. These engines, which convert the energy from burning fuel into motion, were lighter, more efficient, and could reach higher speeds than their steam-powered predecessors. This sparked a revolution in personal transportation, and the car, as we know it, was born. As cars became more popular, they also became more sophisticated. The lever was replaced with a steering wheel, making cars much easier to control. Then came the shift from manual to automatic transmission, which made driving more accessible to the masses. And who can forget the advent of electric cars, a breakthrough that has transformed our understanding of what a car can be. Throughout this evolution, cars have always reflected the spirit of their times. They've been symbols of progress, freedom, and personal expression. They've evolved from simple machines into complex works of technology and design. And they've changed the way we live, work, and play. But let's not forget where it all started. With a steam-powered contraption and a lever for steering, imagine trying to parallel park with a lever? Talk about a real-life nightmare. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting facts and hilarious car stories. Why don't cars ever get lost? Because they always follow the roadmap. Welcome to Car Jokes 101, where we drive down the humor highway at full throttle. Buckle up, folks. We're about to drop the clutch on some high-octane hilarity. Ever wondered why the car applied for a job? It wanted to quit being a gas guzzler and start earning its own fuel. Or consider this. Why was the car always cold at the mechanic's garage? Because it always had the windows down. And here's one for those who love a good pun. What do you call a car that tells good jokes? A Comcar Deanne. Did you hear about the car that went to a restaurant? It ordered fast food because it was tired of being a slow coach. And finally, what's a car's favorite meal? Break fast. Laughs aside, cars add so much to our lives, even a bit of humor. And remember, if your car could talk, it would probably say, "I enginely like you." There's a whole subculture dedicated to cars. These folks don't just drive cars, they live and breathe them. Welcome to the intriguing world of car enthusiasts, where the smell of gasoline and the hum of a finely tuned engine is akin to music. Here, cars aren't just a means of transportation. They're an extension of self, a reflection of personality and style. From the shining chrome of classic muscle cars to the sleek aerodynamic curves of modern supercars, car shows are the mecca for these motor devotees. It's a place where they gather, not just to display their prized possessions but also to share stories, exchange tips, and celebrate their shared passion. But the thrill of car shows is just the beginning. Car enthusiasts also thrill in the world of racing, where speed and precision take center stage. Whether it's the adrenaline rush of a drag race, the strategic game of endurance racing, or the mudslinging fun of a rally race, it's a world where the roar of engines and the scent of burning rubber is the ultimate high. Then there are the collectors, those who see beyond the function and into the artistry of cars. They are the custodians of automotive history, preserving classic models in pristine condition. From vintage Rolls-Royces to iconic Ferraris, their collections are a testament to the evolution of automotive design and engineering. But being a car enthusiast isn't just about the cars. It's about the emotional connection that forms between man and machine. It's the satisfaction that comes from hours spent tinkering under the hood, the thrill of pushing the pedal to the metal on an open road, the pride of driving a car that you've poured your heart and soul into. It's a world where the journey matters just as much as the destination, where every mile driven, every curve negotiated, every gear shift is a new chapter in the ongoing love story between the driver and their car. So the next time someone tells you they're a car enthusiast, remember it's not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. Ever wondered why school buses are always yellow? It's because yellow is the color that's most easily seen in the peripheral vision. Now let's shift gears and dive into some fascinating car facts that are sure to rev up your curiosity. Did you know that the average car has about 30,000 parts? That's right, 30,000. And that's just the average car, we're not even talking about those high-end fancy schmancy ones. And speaking of high-end cars, Did you know that the most expensive car ever sold at a public auction was a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, which went for a mind-blowing $48.4 million in 2018? That's a lot of dough for a hunk of metal, leather, and rubber. Let's debunk a common myth while we're at it. Many people think that red cars get ticketed for speeding more often, but studies have shown that it's actually white cars that get the most tickets. So, those of you with white cars, maybe it's time to rethink your color choice, huh? Now, how about a fact about car manufacturing? Did you know that it takes roughly 25 hours to build a car? That includes all stages from welding the metal body to the final inspection. And the crazy part? Only about 10 of those hours are actual labor. The rest of the time, the car is just cooling down or being transported around the factory. And here's a fun fact about the Volkswagen Beetle. It was the first car to reach production of over 20 million units. Talk about popular. And lastly, let's not forget about electric cars. They've been around longer than you might think. The first electric car hit the road way back in 1884. That's right, the electric car predates the Model T, so the next time you see a yellow school bus, you'll know it's not just a fashion statement. Ever heard of a car that failed its emissions test because it farted too much? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into some hilarious car fails. Let's start with a classic. Picture this. A guy is so proud of his new sports car, he decides to show off a bit at a local gathering. He revs up the engine, hits the gas, and promptly drives straight into a lamppost. The worst part? He forgot to get insurance. Talk about a double whammy. Then we have the case of the GPS lover. This fellow trusted his GPS so much, he ended up driving his SUV into a lake. Apparently the GPS insisted the lake was a road. Perhaps it had a sense of humor of its own, or maybe it was just a fan of water sports. Next up, we have a tale of a man who decided to use his car as a makeshift barbecue pit. Yes, you heard that right. He thought it'd be a great idea to grill some steaks on his engine block. The result? A well-done engine and rare steak. Talk about a culinary disaster. Beyond these individual blunders, let's not forget the universal fails we've all experienced. Like the time you thought you could squeeze into that tight parking spot, only to realize too late that your car isn't quite as compact as you imagined. Or the time you confidently drove off, only to hear the clattering of your forgotten coffee cup on the roof. And let's not even get started on the funny fails that happen when people try to DIY their car repairs. From duct-taped windshields to doors held on by bungee cords, these hilarious attempts at frugality often end in more laughter than success. But here's the thing about car fails. They remind us that cars, much like life, are unpredictable. They teach us to take ourselves a little less seriously, to laugh at our mistakes, and to appreciate the journey even when it takes us off the beaten path. Remember, a good laugh and a long drive are the two best cures for anything. So, what have we learned today? First off, never trust a car that promises it won't get lost. They're notorious liars. From the birth of cars, we've seen how these metal beasts evolved from simple machines to complex high-tech wonders. We've shared a few laughs with Car Jokes 101 because let's face it, who doesn't love a good car pun? We've also taken a peek into the world of car enthusiasts, where passion meets horsepower. We've delved into some fascinating car facts that probably had you raising an eyebrow or two. And let's not forget the hilarious car fails we've laughed at. Remember, every dent has a story. As we wrap up our journey, don't forget that the car world is a vast, vibrant, and often hilarious one. So, buckle up, because there's always more to learn and more to laugh about. Thank you for joining us on this joyride through the world of cars. Remember, life is too short for traffic, so keep moving and keep laughing.